Hello everybody, in this lesson I will discuss fractions in algebra where the sign changes in the denominator. Example 1. So there's two terms and they are being separated by a minus, therefore it's a fraction and you are going to find the LCD. So to find the LCD, what you do is you write down the x and x minus y. And remember, this x minus y is in fact one term. So that's why both x's are being represented in the LCD. And then in your next step, what you're going to do is you are going to multiply every term with what it needs. So this 1 over x minus y, you are going to multiply with the x over x. Remember, what you do on top, you do at the bottom. And then the minus 1 over x, you're going to multiply with x minus y, x minus y. The same thing on top and at the bottom. Now, here, this is going to turn into 1 times x is x. And then you're going to have the minus 1 times the bracket x minus y. Everything over the LCD, x over x minus y. And then in the next step, you're going to multiply in this negative 1. So it's going to be minus 1 times x, and minus times a minus is a plus y. So it becomes x minus x plus y. And then you're going to say x minus x cancel each other out, and you're left with y over x, x minus y. And remember, you cannot cancel out those two y's. Example 2, simplify. So the problem that you've got here is in fact this 1 minus x. What you have to do is you have to swap those two around so that you have the x's in front and then the numbers. So the 2x over x squared minus 1 stays, and then the minus x plus 1 swaps. And then at the bottom here, you're going to pull out the minus as a common factor. So that sign will change to a minus. This sign will change to a plus, and this sign will change to a minus. So when you do it, you've got minus 1 over bracket x minus 1. Then the first term, the denominator here, that is in fact a difference of two squares. So you can write that as 2x over x minus 1, x plus 1, and then the minus 1 over x minus 1. Now we find the LCD. So what you do is you write down the first term's denominator, which is x minus 1, x plus 1, and then you go to the next term, the second term, and you see that there's x minus 1. But x minus 1 is already represented. Therefore, the LCD stays x minus 1, x plus 1. So in the next step, I wrote down the sum, and the only thing that you're going to do is the second term you're going to multiply with x plus 1 over x plus 1. And then in the next step, you're going to take the minus 1 and you're going to multiply it in. So there I wrote everything on the LCD for you, and then it's going to be minus x minus 1 on top there. And then in the next step here, I can add my like terms. 2x minus x is just x minus 1. And now there's a thing that you can do here. In fact, since x minus 1 is on top of the line, the numerator, it means it's one term. And now you can say the whole x minus 1 goes in itself once, x minus 1 goes in itself once. And then you're left with 1 over x plus 1. Example 3, simplify. So the problem with this sum is just be careful that this is a division and not a plus or a minus. So you won't find the LCD here. So in this case, you're going to factorize and you're going to cancel. But your first problem is here on the numerator, where the order is not correct. X has to be in front. And the same goes here under the line. But you must be careful when you swap it around, you end up with minus 3x plus 6. And then I'm going to pull out the minus just now. First of all, I'm going to turn that division into a multiplication. And remember, when you multiply then, these two, the numerator and the denominator, they swap. So in the next step, the minus 3x plus 6 under the line, here, you're going to factorize by taking out minus 3 as a common factor. And remember, when you take out a minus, then this sign will change to a minus. And then on top here, there you can pull out 2 as a common factor. And then the denominator, what you do is you're going to factorize that trinomial. You're going to say the factors of 2 are 2 and 1. You want the middle term to be plus 1. So plus 2 minus 1 is plus 1. And you add a x and you add a x and you put your brackets. So your factors will be x plus 2, x minus 1. Back to our sum. So what I did, I factorized the numerator and I factorized the denominator. So now I can say x minus 2 goes in itself once, x minus 2 goes in itself once. X plus 2 goes in itself once, x plus 2 goes in itself once. Nothing else can cancel. Therefore, on top, on the numerator, I'm left with just 2 over minus 3 bracket x minus 1. Example 4, simplify. So your two terms are separated by a plus, therefore you're going to find an LCD. The first problem is there, the trinomial as the denominator needs to be factorized. So you're going to say the factors of 2 are 2 and 1. You want the middle term to be minus 1. How can 2 and 1 give you negative 1? Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. And then you add your x's there and you add brackets. And then on the next term, this 2 minus x is a problem. You want the x to be in front. So in fact, I'm going to show you here 2x over 2 minus x. So the first thing you do is you swap the two terms around. So you find minus x plus 2. So I haven't done anything yet. I just swapped the 2 around. Now I'm going to pull out this minus as a common factor. So when I take out the minus, I'm left with x minus 2. Remember, all the signs change. So now, back in my sum, there's the 3x squared over x minus 2x plus 1. The trinomial was factorized. And then I find the minus 2x over x minus 2. Then in the next step, now I'm going to find the LCD. So you write down this first denominator over there, and then you go to the next term and you find the x minus 2. And you go to your LCD and you say, no, but x minus 2 is already there. So that is indeed the LCD. The first term, you just write it down. And then on the next term, now you have to multiply the numerator as well as the denominator with x plus 1 to get that LCD. So the next term, you've got the LCD there, x minus 2, x plus 1, and then you wrote down the 3x squared, and then there's the minus 2x and the x plus 1. So in the next step, you're going to multiply that one in. Then it becomes 3x squared minus 2x squared minus 2x. And then you're going to say 3x squared minus 2x squared is just x squared minus 2x over the LCD. And then in that step, on the numerator, you can pull out x as a common factor, and you're left with x minus 2. And then you can say the whole x minus 2 goes in itself once, x minus 2 goes in itself once. And you're left with x over x plus 1.
Have you subscribed yet?
And then in the next video, I will discuss typical exam questions. Click on the video in the left-hand corner to take you straight to the next lesson.